The latest MAGA civil war has begun, and it is between Donald Trump and Marjorie Taylor Greene, all over the Epstein saga. Trump shocked the political world last night when he officially unendorsed the congresswoman who has been calling for the release of the Epstein files. He even dubbed her Marjorie Traitor Greene. You see what he did there? This morning, Greene fired back at Trump's attacks on X, writing, quote, "He's coming after me hard to make an example to scare all the other Republicans before next week's vote to release the Epstein files." Greene has been bucking party pressure for weeks, calling for the release of the files across the media landscape.
This is information that has needed to come out for a very long time, and the American people have demanded it. And so the American people deserve to see transparency from their government.
There's clearly powerful people are being protected.
Joining us now to discuss, Jason Selvig, half of the comedy duo The Good Liars. Jason, thanks for joining us on our new digs. So you talk to Trump voters all the time. You go around the country interviewing people about why they support him. Who do you think has their finger on the MAGA pulse more closely, Trump or Marjorie Taylor Greene?
Trump, because he creates the pulse. He is the heart that is beating, that creates he creates a lot of the information they get, the misinformation. Marjorie Taylor Greene seems like she's kind of like a consumer of misinformation, or she has been in the past. I mean, if you look at her, what she's said in the past, she's had 9/11 conspiracies. What was the other big? Oh, QAnon, of course, QAnon.
The Jewish space lasers.
Jewish space lasers, but QAnon is the dumbest conspiracy theory of all time. She's done a lot of horrible things. But now that she's fighting with Donald Trump, I find myself in a weird position where I'm kind of agreeing with her on a lot of the things that she's saying here. Like she says, Donald Trump is not America first. Donald Trump is not America first. He's Donald Trump first. He's made $3 billion since he took the oath of office. And the one thing I agree with her the most on is the Jeffrey Epstein, release the Epstein files. And Donald Trump, he keeps saying, we're not going to release the Epstein files. And he doesn't really give a reason for it. He's basically just saying it's a hoax. Don't release it. I don't know if he's guilty, if he's innocent, but he is acting like a guilty person the way he's been avoiding talking about Jeffrey Epstein and saying he's not going to release the Epstein files. So it's going to be interesting to see if this is like a red line with other Republicans, because it does feel like Donald Trump's using this to kind of intimidate other Republicans if they're going to vote to release the files.
So you bring up a really good point about whether or not this will pave the way for other Republicans to perhaps grow a spine and break ranks. But I do want to go back to this issue because you've been covering it and you know it. Marjorie Taylor Greene occupied a certain space in MAGA world, right? She was a devout follower and a believer of it. The break that has happened now, is that going to come as a surprise to MAGA followers that this woman who was such a loyal Trump foot soldier has now seen the light, broken ranks, and is now coming clean? And to your point, will it empower other Republicans who may be out there thinking like, oh, if she's going to lead the charge, I'm going to follow through?
I don't know. I don't know, because he really is he's the head of the snake. Like he controls this whole movement. Right. And just last week we were in Virginia and I was talking to people, and unprompted they said, well, I want them to release the Epstein files. I want Trump to release the Epstein files. Like they don't even know that Donald Trump is the guy who's been not releasing it.
That's why I disagree with you a bit that Trump has the pulse more of MAGA. I think he normally does, but on this issue, he is showing a defensiveness that is just so apparent compared to his other behavior, his normal behavior on that track, when he usually is shameless. And now he definitely doesn't want this to come out, showing a vulnerability.
But the way Trump is describing it now, and in the pivot that he's done in the last few days, is like, yeah, let's dig into this. Let's see what's in there about Bill Clinton and other Democrats. He's basically trying to give
Republicans, it's a hoax.
It's a hoax. No, exactly. And it's like people could ask him about this, like the birthday book that the Wall Street Journal reported on, and then the pages came out.
Look at his reaction.
Yeah, there was some of the people that he's named have notes in the book. That wasn't a hoax, but his page was a hoax. Like, what is it? Like if people should.
It was a hoax that was like.
Shapeshift.
It was a hoax that has been in the works for like decades. That's what's most impressive about this conspiracy theory.
Joining me now is the Democratic Congressman of California, Robert Garcia. Congressman Garcia serves as a ranking member of the Oversight and Government Reform Committee and has been spearheading this effort to get these emails out. Congressman, good to see you. Boy, with literally, we can count this down in hours now to when this vote is going to happen. The president is pulling out all the stops and coming unraveled at the same time.
I mean, clearly, he is completely panicked. He is desperate. He knows that the American public is all now lining up to fight to ensure that the release of the files actually happens. And he's doing everything that he can to intimidate, to politicize and weaponize the government, to stop the files from being released. I mean, this last week, we were able, of course, to get out really important documents and information about the relationship between Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. Some of those documents, read them for yourself, I think are quite disturbing. They're quite damning. There are definitely connections there. And I think the one thing that has become crystal clear this week is that this is a White House cover-up and that Donald Trump is absolutely hiding something.
And this is the interesting part, right? We don't know from the documents that were released what legal culpability in this matter Donald Trump had. It wasn't clear enough to make that determination. But what's the cover-up for? What is this now? This was a MAGA-fueled thing to say that this was a Democratic problem and let's get these files out. Donald Trump said he would. His FBI deputy director and his FBI director were all on the same team on this one. They were all going to get these files out, and now suddenly there's nothing to see here.
That's exactly right. You can't spend your entire campaign, have your vice presidential nominee do the same, have the entire MAGAverse saying want to release the files, and then, as we remember, they tried to actually fake a release with a bunch of like far-right influencers that went nowhere. Then Donald Trump says, oh, wait, there's actually nothing there. This is over. The reality is this. We've been successful as Democrats to essentially fight to get these other documents released. They haven't come from the government. They've come from the Epstein estate because we've been successful in forcing some subpoena votes at the Oversight Committee. But now we know that what's in the DOJ dwarfs what we've already received from the estate. For us to solve this case, for us to solve and get justice for these women and these survivors who were in many cases girls and children when they were raped and abused, we have to get access to the full Epstein files at the DOJ. They are under subpoena right now from our committee. They've been unresponsive, and now they're forcing the entire Congress to take this vote. It's going to pass with substantial numbers, and they have to release the files.
So let's talk about this. You've been working with a number of Republicans, including Marjorie Taylor Greene and Thomas Massie. Donald Trump said some nasty stuff about Massie last night. The White House put the screws to Lauren Boebert the other day. But the bottom line is there is this sense that if you're not the 218th vote, like Adelita Grijalva was, and you're a Republican, you may have no choice but to vote for this thing, what Congressman Smallwell referred to as a jailbreak.
I think that's right. I mean, look, you've already seen in the last couple of days, there have been Republicans that have come out publicly and said, I'm going to vote for this. And this is on top of the handful that actually joined Thomas Massie.
Yeah, like Don Bacon said that.
Don Bacon, Kevin Kiley. I mean, you're hearing that.
Yeah.
I'm hearing that privately from other Republicans as well. So I do think we're going to have a significant group. Now, what kind of pressure is Donald Trump going to try to put on these members? What kind of operation will the White House try to implement? It was not successful last week. But to take a member to the Situation Room with the director of the FBI and the lead of the Department of Justice to try to intimidate them to release and remove their name from this effort is insane. I mean, that just does not happen. And so the question, again, I think is really clear.
What's this all for?
What the hell is being hid by the White House?
Tell me how this works, by the way. This is called a discharge petition, which means it's not like a normal bill that has to go through party leadership and wait for vote. If a discharge petition passes in the House, Mike Johnson has no say in what happens next. But what does happen next? Is this a bill? Does it go to the Senate? Does it go to the president? The
story's not going to go away. And I do think it's very telling that that a lot of people are turning on Trump amidst this Bill Clinton stuff. People are calling him Monica Lewinsky, and this does offend me, if only because it's an insult to Monica Lewinsky, who, of course, was not treated right either by Bill or by the media or by anybody back when it happened. And there's been a real reckoning for how she was treated in the years since. So I don't think we should mock her, but I don't think people are meaning it as an insult to her. I think people are meaning it as an insult to Trump. And I do think it's quite telling that at the moment where the story quickly became, yes, what Trump did with Epstein, but also what he potentially did with Bill Clinton, well, maybe that's one of the reasons MAGA is leaving him. Because again, for some of MAGA, I'm not saying all of MAGA, but for a significant portion, they would rather a man that sleeps with people not yet of age than somebody who isn't straight. They think the former is less bad than the latter. I know that sounds insane, but there are people like that who think it's better, like maybe to be with a 15-year-old than to be with a person roughly, like Trump and Clinton are the same age. So allegedly, gotta say, allegedly, if this happened, there is no proof it did, but if it allegedly happened, they are the same age. So two people the same age, that's scandalous and awful and weird. But, man in his 40s, his 50s, whatever Trump's 60s, whatever age he was at the time this potentially happened, with somebody younger than his children at the time, is somehow not as bad. And I do think it's quite telling that MAGA is making a move here. I do. And I do think that in many ways this will probably make it harder for Trump to control people, because this is uniquely scandalous. And I just feel like it's not going to end. And you're seeing the tides turn. Marjorie Taylor Greene has been getting a lot of support. You know Marjorie's boyfriend, famous guy, he's a famous conservative media guy. He came out and posted this really nice post about her saying, I love her, I love this country, we're going to make America great again. And he was targeting Trump there, saying, I'm with Marge, you're not going to divide us, and I think that's bad news for Donnie.